This is Sway.
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 In the morning.
In the morning.
In the morning.
Shade 45.
Wake your fuck ass up. That crust out your eyes.
Shade 45 First Aid. As you know, we do this to help improve your health, your body, your mind, your spirit, and your soul. And this week, Kelly Kinkaid, every day this week, you've been talking about this segment today.
Yes.
And
Good morning.
And our
Good
very
morning,
special guest. And
yes, today we're going to have a special edition of First Day with Kelly Kinkaid. You know, Sway, if you haven't seen it, you must be under a rock. But everyone has seen this video of Ray Rice and his now wife, Janay, in the elevator, and it's been a lot through the NFL, just all over the news. And domestic violence is a big subject to talk about, not only in sports, but just with human people, regular people. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to bring today a special guest, Tamron Hall. You all see her every day on NBC with the Today Show, News Nation, on Discovery Channel. You see her everywhere because this is a personal story for you too. Good morning, Tamron.
Good morning, Kelly. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sway, to your whole team for having me here today. I really appreciate it. It is personal.
Yeah.
And I've talked about the story involving my sister. My sister passed away in 2004. She was home. Her body was found in the swimming pool of her home, and the police told my father and my mother that it was a homicide, and they had only one person of interest. Mm-hmm. No one has ever been charged or brought to justice in her case, but there was a long history of domestic violence. And so I started talking about it after I attended an event in New York City. It's called Day One. Mm-hmm. And there were young girls of all races, of all backgrounds, 13, 14 mm-hmm. years old in some cases, talking to me about their relationships and how they were being emotionally and physically abused. And I'm listening to this. I was at the event. I'm listening to their stories. I'd never talked about my sister in public. And then I felt, well, I can't ask them these personal questions and not give up what's in my closet. Yeah. And so I started talking publicly about my sister, but I had not done it prior to, I guess it was 3 years ago.
Wow. And you turned a negative into a positive because during that panel, the moderator kind of brushed it off, mm-hmm. And talk about just what sparked you just to continue talking more about this.
The kids in these organizations that I speak to, they're coming to me and they're saying, my boyfriend is 15, I'm 14, and he's demanding to know my Instagram passcode. He's demanding to know my phone passcode. He's on Facebook looking for other guys who may say hi to me and confronting me. He wants me to wear certain things. And so I started to hear all of these young girls talk about the early stages of domestic abuse. And we know that leads to eventual physical abuse. Mm-hmm. And, it's hard. And you both know, Kelly and Sway, you're listening to a kid. We've all gone through things in our life, but you're listening to a 15-year-old girl who says her boyfriend punched her in the face. Yeah. I mean, what do you say to that? So it's kept me going, their stories, and what you both are doing with this segment. You're trying to heal and help people.
Well, the thing is, I have a daughter who's that age, and when I looked at the Ray Rice video, who I was a fan of, I'll be honest with you, as a football player, but that had nothing to do with sports to me. Yeah. That's a dysfunction. Mm-hmm. And it was a violent act, and under no circumstances do I condone that kind of behavior. I would never want to see that happen to a family member, a friend, or anyone for that matter, or my daughter. And I never would want to be on the other end of that as well. And what I'm seeing is a lot of people who are kind of making excuses for it, which is...
This morning, Paul George, a player for the Pacers who I was a fan of, and I say was now because I think he went on Twitter, and I think you have a segment where you have people who go on Twitter.
Twitter dummy. That's
Twitter.
What Twitter
I think
dummy.
He perhaps is the candidate for Twitter dummy on your show because he went online and said, I don't condone hitting a woman or think it's cool, but if she ain't tripping, then I ain't tripping. Let's keep it moving, LOL. Let that man play. And then he followed up with something else after that, eventually deleted the tweets, and he's apologized. And I do believe once someone apologizes, at some point you say, okay, you've recognized what you've done wrong and how your words may or may not have been misinterpreted. But the bottom line is it speaks to what Sway talked about, and Kelly, this culture of excusing it. Well, she was coming at him, or what if a woman is hitting you and what do you do? Well, listen, we all saw the tape. Mm-hmm. We all saw the tape. Yeah. And Janay Rice owns her story, and when she's ready, if ever she is ready to talk, that's up to her. And I don't think we should focus on Ray Rice or Janay. To Kelly's point, and to Sway's point, this is not the NFL. This is not one couple. This is personal for all of us.
Absolutely.
And so that's why I'm happy you're having this conversation today. You're forwarding it past the NFL. The NFL has its own problems.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, did you get the tape? They have they have to come clean, and Roger Goodell has a cloud over his head. But subtract the NFL, subtract Janay and Ray in their journey if they choose to stay together, and talk about domestic abuse. 15 million children are exposed to domestic abuse in the home. 15 million.
That's scary. Tamron Hall is here with us. We're going to open up the phone lines too, and then it's not about the NFL, but if you sports in general, I think you have these issues that are swept under the rug, hidden behind a curtain. In your opinion, I want to find out, what do you think should happen to Ray Rice as far as his occupation? And then also want to open up the phone lines, because there are a lot of people who live in terror and they don't have an outlet. And maybe we could give them some insight or some advice on what to do next or because of it. 888-742-3345. Give us a call. All right, 48 minutes into the hour. We have special guest Tamron Hall is with us, and Kelly, we're talking about
domestic violence. Sway, and we're the Ray and Janay Rice video has been a big topic all week, and I wanted to bring this to the table to the citizens just to talk about domestic violence. But I wanted to make sure everyone know this isn't just women in domestic violence. Men experience domestic violence. The stats is 1 in 4 women will experience domestic violence during their lifetime. And, men are also victims, and nearly 3 million experience physical assaults.
Wow. Yeah. Tamron, you shared a really close and personal story about your sister who was murdered. And police believe that there's a person in question, a person that she dated or
someone in the home.
Someone in the home. And so for you to be here and to share that story, first of all, thank you for being so open and forthcoming with us. And, Ray Rice, this situation has brought it to national attention, but this is something that is beyond sports, as we said. This is something that is in many households that people don't often get a chance to talk about. And it has a lot of people on both sides of the fence. What should happen to Ray Rice? Some people feel like he's being railroaded. Some people feel like he should be given another chance. What do you think would have been appropriate, in your view, the appropriate punishment for him for what he did?
I think, as far as his occupation, if the NFL had suspended Ray Rice for 1 season, when this first happened, people would have accepted that as an appropriate punishment, and he would be able to go on to his career. I don't think you should lose your occupation. You pay your debt to society. And when there was only a 2-game suspension, that wasn't seen as paying his debt to society or to his wife. And I think the NFL's mishandling of the initial punishment caused a lot of this. I don't know if people would have been as interested in all of what was going on in that elevator if that 1-year suspension had been leveled against Ray Rice. That's what I think. I don't think you should lose your entire ability to make an income. That's what he does for a living. Should the guy who's the plumber lose his job? I mean, that's your job. You may make a lot of money with your occupation, but you pay your pound of flesh and you move on. But I think that 2-game suspension angered a lot of people, and this is where we are.
What about the way the NFL handled it? What should happen to the commissioner, in your opinion?
Commissioner Goodell made a statement after Bounty Gate with the New Orleans Saints, where the head coach did not know about the bounty program. But he said, when you're the leader, it's your responsibility, and you can't cry ignorance or lack of knowledge. And so people are asking, under Roger Goodell's own rules that he set for the New Orleans Saints, then he should go. If that's what he applied to the head coach of the Saints, that even though the coach was unaware of the Bounty Gate program, or whatever they called it, Bounty Gate, he needed to be out for an entire season. So then that means under the Goodell rules, he needs to be out.
Goodell claimed that he never saw the video up until yesterday or 2 days ago when.
But the video doesn't matter. So listen, the clip that we all saw right after that warranted, more than 2 games.
Yeah.
I mean, so now that they're saying, oh, no, we see it from the back. So the northeast corner of the video versus the southwest, it changed. How do they think she was knocked out? It didn't matter if he used his elbow, if he used, a backpack. She was knocked out cold on her face. We saw him drag her out of that elevator. What does it matter what happened a few minutes before? He said he did it.
He said he did it. We have D on the line from Chicago. What are your thoughts about this, D? Welcome to the show.
What up, Sway? How you doing? Good morning.
Doing well.
I feel like we all should pray for Ray Rice and his family, and I hope they get through this. But because it was a video of this, we have people that are sworn to protect us as police in this nation. And every day, every week, we see video of police brutalizing its citizens. But no one's up in arms about that. Police are not being fired. They're being placed on administrative leave, and they're at a desk still getting paid. If we're going to get so emotional about Ray Rice and this situation with him, and I'm not trying to say that domestic violence is not to be addressed, but that's football. That's a football player. This is a sport, something that we do actively with our kids and with our families and watch.
Hi, sir. This is Tamron Hall. I think you can focus on both, and I'll ask you, did you go to Ferguson, Missouri? You're in Chicago. It's not very far away.
I did not.
Okay.
I did not.
Okay. We can be focused on both. As the president says, you can walk and chew gum. We can care about domestic violence, and we can care about what happened to Michael Brown in Ferguson. I've covered both stories. We've had people on the ground in Ferguson. Yesterday, if you were watching my show, we had a live report from an amazing reporter on MSNBC.com, Tremaine Lee, who has not let Ferguson out of the spotlight. So you can care and be focused on both. There doesn't have to be a but.
Yeah.
There doesn't have to be an if-then.
Okay, hey D, man, thanks for your call. All right, we have Tom from Virginia. Tom, how you doing, Tom?
I'm doing good, Sway. How you doing this morning, man? I got a couple things I want to say, man. I want to ask you a question, but my first thing I want to say, women is the most special thing in the world, and not under any right is it not under any circumstances is it right to hit a woman, man. But I don't feel he should be double jeopardized, man. Just like the last caller said, we all make mistakes. I feel that he should be given a second chance.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel,
Go ahead.
Sway, last thing I want to ask you, if we can hear a song called Special.
By who? Who made the song?
It was one of the artists that was on your show, Banger, yours truly. If we can hear that song called Special, man, it's geared to women. And I think that it's the perfect time to hear it.
Okay, what's the artist's name? What do you go by?
Banger, yours truly.
Oh, Banger. Okay, all right. Yes, okay, sir. Man. Hey, good to hear your voice, bro. All right. We got Dave on the line from Virginia. Go ahead, Dave. What would you like to say?
Hey, I just wanted to comment on that Paul George comment that was brought up earlier in the conversation. Mm-hmm. I feel like a lot of people are going to have, different opinions about the situation, and everybody feels like they have to apologize and say that, I agree that domestic violence is wrong in the beginning, but a reasonable person understands that. People are going to have their opinions against something, and what Paul said, about her saying that if the wife didn't care now, then why would we care? It's kind of true. I mean, we're looking at this video now, but that situation happened a while ago. They live a private relationship. Obviously, they've reconciled that. So I don't think we need to attack them as far as their relationship goes, or anybody that has an opinion on what's being said at all.
Okay. How do you respond to that, Tamron?
Domestic violence is a crime.
Yeah.
It's a crime. And I agree with the caller. We should not judge Janay Rice and Ray Rice in their journey. And absolutely, I subscribe to the belief that you should be able to redeem yourself in any capacity. Mm-hmm. People get out of prison every day. They cannot vote. They cannot get a job. So I've spoken a lot about that as well. You should not be stripped of your humanity because you make a mistake. Mm-hmm. I said that with Michael Vick's case. He paid for his crime. He got out and he was able to go back into the league. A lot of people didn't agree when I said that. That's not what we're talking about. Domestic violence is a crime, and it deserves punishment. And this is not a double jeopardy situation if you say that Ray Rice has to go through the legal system and then his job. Because, by the way, in my contract, in his contract, your clause says if you do something that embarrasses your company, they can punish you. Yeah. Then don't sign that deal. Then I can't sign that deal with NBC that says if Tamron Hall embarrasses NBC and we see fit to take her off. That's part of the game. When you're paid $50 million or whatever you are paid, on that contract it reads, and he signed it.
Yeah.
And I believe, listen, I cannot imagine the hurt that's happening in that home right now. And they're right to say we should pray for them, but we should pray for the millions of other victims of domestic violence. Everyone's focused on Ray Rice. And if you're fine with their situation, then you're saying, in my opinion, then, you know what about the other guy who beat his wife?
Yeah.
What about the other guy who, you're not going to feel sorry for him? Are we praying for them? You know, I just think that there's a lot of focus on one individual. Absolutely. Pray for them, but pray for all the victims of domestic violence.
Thank you, Tamron Hall. Thank you for coming by the show, too, man. If people want to, you know, you can speak with Tamron directly on her social media platforms. How can people reach you?
Sway, they're mean to me on social media. I'll delete them. No, okay. I will go ham and delete you, so be very careful what you say.
I'll block them, too.
I'm kidding. It's at Tamron Hall. And please do. I think everyone's opinion does matter. Yeah. And I'm not saying that, you know, Paul George's opinion doesn't matter, but he apologized for it. So that tells you what he thinks of what he said. Exactly. And he deleted it. So there's that. But yes, at Tamron Hall, I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and I do have a CrowdRise. If you go to crowdrise.com/Tamron Hall, we are raising money for Day One, and they help people of all ages, of all colors, get into shelters and get into a better life. So I thank you guys so much. I have to come back and talk about something fun and happy another time.
Got you. I know Al Roker warned you about us.
Al Roker said to me, I've got to go, but Al Roker says, you're going on the Sway show? No! He did like one of those Matrix moves to keep me. But you guys are wonderful. Thank you so much, Kelly.
Thank you so much.
So much love here. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Sway. Before I get off, anyone that's experienced domestic violence, I wanted to give the number for the domestic violence hotline. There are people to talk to you. 1-800-621-HOPE, and that's 1-800-621-4673. There's people there 24 hours a day. If you need help and you don't have anybody to talk to help you out, please call that number, 1-800-621-4673.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Tamron.
It's Sway in the morning, only on Shade 45.